those front pages. Let's take a call. This is Jake in Highgate. Hello, Jake.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Are you the same fellow who sent me the email about the CB radio stuff?
That's right, Duncan. Yeah, what did you want to know about it? You wanted to know why people seem to be coming back rather than using the internet chat room?
No, well, not really. I mean, it wasn't challenging your view in your email. I just find it fascinating that when CB was last at the height of its powers, which I would suggest was, what, the 1980s, when it was really booming, since then we now have social media, mobile phones, and your email to me says it's making a steady comeback, which I find fascinating. Why do you think it is, Jake?
I think it is people that, a lot of the elderly people come back, sort of in their 40s, that sort of had in their youth the CB radio, and they loved it, and it was like the Facebook of the time, you know. We used to meet people, date girls on there, and I think the social media that's come back now, it's so cold, you know. People don't understand people's emotions, especially the older generation. They can't keep up with the chat. It's so fast on there, so you get left behind. And with CB radio, you actually talk to people in real time. You know, you actually hear their voice, what they're like, what they're feeling, and you can just join in. There's no set rules. You just come in, say hello, and we're on the 3-5. We've got about 30, 40 people coming most evenings, have a chat with us on there, and you get all sorts of walks of life in there. You get some doctors, some bus drivers, some unemployed, elderly, you know, and they all come in retired. And we all have one in common. We all like talking, and you know, you're a stranger at first, but when you get into the little community, there's a great thing. So people that are sort of stuck at home, bedbound, they switch their radio on, and some people don't talk, they just like to listen, and we have a good old laugh on there, and we help people out with these bits of kit. If something's got blown up in their radio and they need a new power supply or something like that. Yeah. We often have spare ones, and we help the community. So anybody out there is listening, and they have an old radio set in the cupboard and think, oh, is there anybody out there? There's loads of us out there now, so come and join us. But it's also changed as well, CB, now. It's not how it was back in the 80s and early 90s. We now have been issued with Sideband and AM, which is another band of radio we weren't allowed to use back then, which gives us a much further range that we used to have. So now where we could only talk locally sort of 20 miles, we're now talking, 100 miles.
All right. Let me ask you to stop for a sec, because you said a lot of really interesting stuff there, and there's one of the things. So I remember it used to be FM, but now you can legally use AM, can you?
AM and sideband.
Yeah, all right, and AM, like with radio transmissions and what I do here, AM goes a hell of a lot further than FM, and I think most people will get their head around that. Do you still need a licence? Because you used to, didn't you?
No, there's no control on it. They've disbanded the licence on that now, so that's not needed.
Really? I wonder why that happened. I mean, I always thought government organisations always like the opportunity of making a few quid out of people given any chance.
Well, what happened was the mobile use came in, didn't it, in the mid-90s, and the internet became big and the chat rooms, and that sort of killed it off a lot of the thing. Yeah. But, you know, the internet was the death of it, but also the internet is now the thing that's bringing CB back through YouTube and Facebook. You know, if you look on... I mean, I forgot about CB radio. I was having to be looking through YouTube on another subject, and, you know, it came up on one of the sidebar videos, and I looked at that, oh yeah, I saw one of those, and I flipped onto it, and then I started watching more video, and I realised that the community is a lot thriving in London, and there's quite a lot of up-to-date videos on how to get set up there, and I got my old kit out of the old cupboard, and I set it all up again, and started
I was going to ask you, so you never got rid of your old stuff, you just mothballed it for a bit, did you?
Yeah, so I just mothballed it, I put it in the cupboard in a cardboard box, it's got about 25 years or so. And I mothballed it and brought it out, and it's still working. And I took my old antenna down and used a mag mount, which is a car antenna to start off, and just to see what it was before. Once I realised that London's thriving, I went and invested in a home-based antenna, and here I am. It's a year and 8 months, and you know, on the channel we use, 35. When I first started, there was only about 4 or 5 people most nights on there, and it's to go down early. Now, like I said, you can be anything up to sort of 25 to 40 most nights, you know, coming in there, and all at the same time, but coming on from about 8:30 until the early hours of the morning.
I mean, I'm glad you sent me the email, and I'm glad after I read it out you picked up the phone, because, I mean, there's so many questions around this, and I think, is it just nostalgia, Jake? I mean, because there is other stuff. You mentioned social media, I mentioned it, there are mobile phones, there are chat rooms online, there are web forums. Is this just nostalgia that we just like going back to something we did 30 years ago?
It possibly is. It could be a certain group of men gets in their 40s and they want to relive their teenage years. It could be. But we do have an influx of younger members coming in through the Facebook groups we have. You know, they're very interested and they ask questions. And we've got a few younger members in their early 20s, you know, sort of 21, 22, 24 age groups. So there's about 6 of those that joined us in the last 3 months that are regular on the mobile as well out there. and they sort of start on mobiles to sort of spend a little bit of money on the antenna. And once they realise there's a thriving community out, they want to get home based so they can enjoy the evenings in with the net.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I used to be on CB radio back in the 80s. I used to have a Thunderpole 3 out the back of my bedroom window, which came down in the great storm of October 1987. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Is it still easy to get hold of the kit? I mean, I'm guessing it's all second hand, or is new stuff being made?
No, it's the kit has changed so much from the 80s. We've got kits now, radios now that are so advanced. They've got different bands in there. It's almost like amateur radio, some of the equipment.
Yeah.
In fact, to be honest with you, the way the radio's gone on CB now, all the sideband nets which take place in the week and the weekends, it's very much, most of us use call signs now instead of handles. And we go on sideband, so it's got very respect about there. I mean, back, it was like in the 80s, there was Channel 19 was like a no-go area if you was wanted to try and get through to people. But now it's a lot more friendlier in London now. People respect each other, and that kind of kiddie behaviour that they used to have is disappearing. It's people just want to come in and talk and see how far they can get out. Because when the conditions are right on sidebands, you can get to South Africa, America, all over the place. Europe's no problem. We're often getting through to Europe every day when the skip comes up on the 555, which is another frequency we use for sidebanding. And you can get out miles, hundreds of miles. It's a great community out there.
No, it really comes across. And again, I just think it's great that it's thriving in the 21st century. So you're on Channel 35. That's where people find you.
That's right, Channel 35 in London.
Yeah.
And we don't just reach London, we're all the outer counties, we often reach Brighton and all the seaside towns to tune into our nets. But if you happen to look on Facebook and just put CB Radio in there, you'll find lots of other nets out there, other sort of groups that are sitting in your area, because, naturally there's a limited range on certain people, you've got hills between us. But if you take a look on YouTube, you'll see what's going on, and please come and join our group, Duncan. You'll be most welcome.
Yeah, well, I'm tempted now. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, all of this chat, I'm thinking I'll maybe get a rig in the car. It's like driving around the empty streets of London. I can have a chat with people as I'm making my way home. And what's your handle, Jake?
Well, my handle was the Baron of Highgate, or it's just known as Jake Highgate now, or my call sign is Charlie Tango 2151, which is the Charlie Tango DX group, which is a Facebook group, which you can get a call sign issued to you. And you can join their group and get so much information from them as well. There's lots of groups out there. Because what it is, it's just that CB radio is like a springboard to ham radio as well. Because that if you're into ham radio, it's most people start on the CB radio and then decide they...
And you do, forgive me for interrupting, you do need a licence for ham still, don't you? Oh, we lost him. No, his mobile's gone. I think we're done with Jake. Jake, thank you, mate. I was just going to say, I had an email from Jet Lee, who is also on Channel 35 in London. So there you are. We appear to be having London's CB community listening to London's late night radio phone and engaging. What a lovely... Do you know what would be great? If we could actually get two CBers on the phone at the same time, also talking using their CB radios. Does that make sense? That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Let's go to calls about CB radio, if you're up for it. We had Jake, who was on earlier, telling us all about Channel 35 in London. It appears that CB radio is making a little bit of a comeback. There's a renaissance with CB radio. So I'll lob that into the mix as well. Were you using your rig in the 80s? 0207 224 2000. Now let's chew over this idea that here we are in this technological age where you've got web forums, you have chat rooms, you've got social media, all of this stuff. And yet there does appear to be a little bit of a comeback for CB radio. I just find so interesting. 0207 224 2000. Give us a call. We'll chat between now and 1. Mel is answering your calls. Emails coming to Barks at BARKES, barks at bbc.co.uk. Or you can text 81333 is our text number. Please start your message with the word London. And Sunday night into Monday morning we play music. It's kind of jazz related, though we do push the boundaries a little bit. And we're kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit this week. Selections courtesy of Etta James, Gary Moore, and Jane has been patiently hanging on in Finsbury Park and she's on the radio. Hello, Jane.
Hi, love. Yeah, it's really interesting. I could actually talk about everything we've spoken about recently. I thought Jake was amazing. I thought his conversation about community was just brilliant.
Yeah.
I think you know, what he's talked about of communicating with older people, younger people and everything is just brilliant. So important in our day and age to hear a voice as opposed to social media.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. And forgive me for interrupting. I kind of feel minded now that I've got to say this, but I am interested in your thoughts, so I need to explore them a little bit. Is that the difference? That maybe CB radio is making a comeback because it is actually a human voice as opposed to text on a screen somewhere?
Hugely. I know from a lady living alone that hearing a voice means everything to hearing a text. And it's not even hearing a text, is it?
Reading
it's
a text,
just, it's just a message, or Facebook message, or a tweet, or whatever. It's just this nothingness. But hearing a human voice is so important. And I've talked before with you again about being lonely, but my goodness, you know, the older people, the younger people, many of us can feel lonely, no matter what age you are. But it's Ace. That is so lovely. I honestly, I was enlightened and very. I noted it down. I was like, oh gosh, I want to get a TB to get involved, because it'd be lovely to just join in his joyous community, really.
Yeah. Are you going to get a CB radio then? It sounds like it, Jane. It sounds like you're
I
turned on for the idea.
I don't know how to do it, but I'd love to join.
All right. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he mentioned if you search CB Radio London, I think his thing will come up for you.
Well, wonderful.
You can find out more about it. Yeah.
But that isn't really why I was calling.
Okay.
The first reason I was calling was because I was
on BBC Radio London. Doug's up next, another new caller in Guildford. Hello, Doug.
Hello, Duncan. How are you, mate?
Very well, sir. What would you like to talk about? Oh, CB Radio. Excellent. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do, funnily enough, as it happens. I speak to Jake quite often on his channel. He's got a Facebook group called CB Channel 35 Club UK.
Right, yeah.
And he's sort of like the chairman and such.
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah. How did you get into it, Doug, if I can ask?
Well, years and years ago, my dad sort of was interested in CBs, and we was just out walking on the common one day, and had this little walkie-talkie thing, and he's a northerner, and he showed him all for the copy. The next minute, someone's come back, and at that age, 8 years old, I was quite amazed, you know what I mean? It was like we never had sort of phones or Facebook or anything back then, so it was all quite brand new to us, do you know what I mean? Like, having a radio where someone came back to you was quite amazing, so when I was in the early days, obviously, sort of like you did a little bit, then obviously you move on.
Yeah.
But as you get older, sort of like you can afford the radios again, and they're not that expensive anymore. So it's
where did you get your stuff from then? Second time round. How long have you been on CB Radio? Let's ask that. Yeah.
Oh well, this time round about 6 months.
Okay. Okay. So where did you get the kit from 6 months ago?
Well, you can find it on the internet. Basically, I had a CB sent to me from my brother, because I mentioned it to him, and I said, you know, we haven't been on a CB for a long time, and he lives up in Manchester, and he sent us this CB through the post. He had no microphone, no aerial or anything, so I had to source the pieces for that, but I got it off the internet, and no, it's really good. It hasn't cost us an awful lot of money. Obviously, the more you get into it, you can spend a lot more money, but you can limit it to what you want to spend it to. It's like you can get a decent setup for about £100 basically. That's a good aerial, a radio.
So have you got it? Is it in your Is it in your car or is it in your home?
Well, I tend to go out in my car. I think Jake's home base in London, but I tend to go out in my car. And I go up to sort of hills like we've got Newlands Corner, which is sort of between Guildford and Dorking, and there's the Hog's Back, which is between Guildford and Farnham.
I know the Hog's Back, yeah.
Yeah, so I park up on there on certain nights, and I chat to other people from there. And it's got a bit serious for myself now, because I tend to, you know, these home-based aerials, like 15-foot aerials, I put them up against fence posts and top the fence posts whilst I'm out of my car, next them up, so it's quite fun. It's all right.
Well, what do you get out of it, Doug, if I can ask? I mean, again, I've said this to a few people, including Jake, the idea that here we are in this era of web forums, chat rooms, texting, social media, and yet there does appear to be this revival of CB radio. What do you get out of it, mate?
Well, I personally think what it is, the actual the involvement, obviously, sort of like you're in your own exclusive club as such, because obviously CB's, it used to be proper busy back in the days. Even yourself, you had one, didn't you?
Well, in the 80s I did, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was really busy back then. But nowadays, it's not so busy. It's more sort of like set up for the networks. But you do get the odd people during the daytime chatting to each other. And I think recently, as that started getting a bit busier, I don't know why, where maybe there's more people sort of, I don't know.
Well, it does appear that more people are perhaps getting turned back onto it. Have you ever met anyone that you've talked to on there? What's called an eyeball? Have you ever eyeballed anyone?
Well, recently, yeah, I have. It's quite funny really because we've both had sort of similar backgrounds from banger racing, and he's also a bit of he's a generation above me as such. So you won't like me saying this, but he's about 5-6 years older than myself, and he's one of the ones that I used to go and watch when I was little.
Right.
And I started doing the banger racing, then obviously all that's gone by. But yeah, I met him through CB, and I spoke to him on the radio to start off with. Then I messaged him. He comes round, has a cup of tea, and he's a nice lad. Do you know what I mean? It's a friendship, really, that you would have if the word radio wasn't there, to be quite honest.
That makes a lot of sense. Doug, thank you for picking up the phone. Let's talk again soon. I'm really I'm intrigued by this slow build and spread of CB radio. Do you remember Smokey and the Bandit? 0207 224